Good evening and welcome to the Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. On the show today, we have a big news update coming in, and this is the latest coming in as far as an FIR being filed by the Cubbon Park Police in Bengaluru, and this is as far as the stampede that took place following the celebrations as far as the RCB victory in the IPL is concerned. We have seen those unfortunate scenes where 11 individuals lost their lives, and now the breaking update coming in at this point of time is that we are looking at an FIR being filed. Now, who all have been named in this entire FIR at this point of time, we can tell our viewers, are the Royal Challengers Bangalore or the RCB team, DNA Networks, which has been one of those who has been looking after the event management aspects, as well as Karnataka State Cricket Association and several others. Sections of the BNS that have been cited include Section 105, culpable homicide not amounting to murder, Section 125(12), acts endangering life or personal safety of others, Section 142, unlawful assembly, Section 121, abetment of an offence, and Section 190, liability of members of an unlawful assembly for offences committed in pursuit of a common object. What is very interesting though, Imran, is that while the KSCA has been named, while RCB has been named, while DNA Networks have been named, what about the government that gave this particular permission and who sanctioned this kind of a huge public event which led to this kind of a tragedy is a question that still remains unanswered. Imran.
Well, absolutely, Madhav. That's a question that's about that they have named RCB, they have named KSCA, they have named DNA, but not about the state government responsible for it. The entire mishap, the government has now washed its hands, saying that they didn't expect the number of people who turned up. In fact, the Chief Minister himself did the press conference and said that it is beyond the expectation, so nobody could have averted such a tragedy. And they said that this is not the responsibility of the police. In fact, the DK Shirk himself also gave a clean sheet to the police, saying that the police did a good job, there is no blame on them, and he's basically giving a clean sheet to himself and the government there. This is a tragedy which cannot have been averted because beyond the expected the numbers, people turned up more than 2 to 3 lakh. In fact, the Chief Minister also said the stadium capacity was only 30,000, but more than 2 lakh people turned up, and that's the reason why the tragedy happened, is what the Chief Minister justified, giving a clean sheet to himself and to his government.
All right, and in fact, Imran, stay with us because we have more breaking news coming in on the show today. I would want you to stay on and break it down for all our viewers. But viewers, this is what we are talking about. A tragic event that has taken place in Bengaluru outside of the Chinnaswamy Stadium. The stampede which led to the lives of 11 individuals, 11 fans, common citizens of Bengaluru, which were very cruelly snuffed out. But just who is responsible? At this point of time, we're looking at a blame game taking place between all of the authorities. It's not just the cricketing authorities, as in the team management or the stadium owner, which is the KSCA, but also the police, the state government, etc. Who exactly is responsible? We've tried to pin down the blame. We have tried to find out who gave the permission and who's really responsible for this kind of unmanageable crowd with absolutely no crowd control measures. Times Now is the only channel that is asking all the right questions, listening to all of the responsible leaders who we have confronted through the day and listening to their responses.
It is unfortunate, this incident has happened. I feel very sorry for it. 11 innocent lives have been lost.
There has been a few lapses from our end when it comes to planning. We are taking responsibility, we are taking up moral responsibility for everything, and we are taking corrective measures so that these things don't happen in the future.
Who is accountable for these loss of life, sir? So was there a pressure from the Karnataka government to rush this event, sir? So 11 innocent lives being lost, sir. Who's going to take an accountability? Mr. Dayanand. Sir. Sir, you are from KSCA. Who's going to take responsibility for these 11 lives lost? 11 innocent lives lost. More than 33 injured, sir. Sir, we can continue walking, but one word. They expect one word. Who's going to take responsibility for the 11 lives lost?
Sir,
one single word, one single answer.
KSCA, if you could give us one answer. He's from KSCA.
But the most important aspect that we have in fact looked at is Times Now accessing a letter of the KSCA that has sought permission for the entire event to be held, and this letter is for the event to be held at the Vidhan Sauda and has been written on the 3rd of this month. But this particular letter does not have details. What is very, very shocking is that absolutely no details were sought as far as the Chinnaswamy Stadium itself is concerned for an event to be held there. That's the breaking update coming in, that only permission being sought for an event to be held at the Vidhan Sauda and absolutely no formal permission being applied for even as far as Chinnaswamy Stadium is concerned. This is the big breaking update that we're getting for our viewers at this point of time, and this is of course the big story where Imran is going to be joining us. Imran, you've spoken to the top brass of the police there in Karnataka, and they are saying that no permission was applied for. Even basics such as ambulances which are to be parked in case of huge crowds being gathered, crowd management facilities, police in fact being deployed there, none of that was in place, primarily because the team management went ahead and unilaterally announced the program at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, including the victory parade, without any police permission. Now this is extremely shocking, Imran.
Well, absolutely, Madhav. In fact, the KSCA had applied for permission within Vidhan Sauda on the 3rd, but they had, RCB team had also gone and met the commissioner demanding permission for the victory parade. The commissioner had said that, this is highly impossible to be organized in such a short notice. Must let the game happen. If they win, they can come back again. Depending on the situation, they can give permission, not based on that's for later date. There was no permission given. Now, after that, the RCB went ahead and announced that the victory parade will happen. That set the entire ball rolling there. In fact, the police were caught unaware who had done duty till 4 a.m. in the morning, and entire Bengaluru was stretched because of the number of crowds who were there on the streets. So entire police station and all the senior officers were on ground till 4 a.m. And this announcement, one of the top officials even said they came to know through the social media that the RCB has announced this. And after that, the team was formed. They met the Home Minister. They informed the Home Minister this is highly impossible. The police will not be able to handle this much of situation. They said that it will lead to disaster. This was communicated. The Home Minister communicated to the government and all the other senior ministers that this is highly impossible and we should take into consideration the recommendation of the police.
Shocking.
But despite that, RCB brought in political pressure.
Absolutely shocking. So who is the senior minister? Well, who is that senior minister who put pressure on the police? There is a serious question indeed. And are they also not responsible for the tragedy that took place? These are some of the most important questions that remain unanswered, and certainly the government of the day will have to answer that, Imran. But there's some more breaking news involved. In fact, we just told you about an FIR being filed against several of those organizers, and my colleague Arunil went to pose those questions to one of those organizers, that is DNA Networks. This is what happened when we tried to pose questions to them. Listen in.
It is unfortunate, this incident has happened. I feel very sorry.
We have to we have to
Arunil, right through the day today, we've been trying to seek answers from the KSCA, from the RCB management, from the police. No answers coming in. All are extremely tight-lipped. The big question is, why are they still passing the buck, and who really takes responsibility for the tragedy that unfolded outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru yesterday?
Well, Madhav, unfortunately, none of these stakeholders are taking onus and responsibility. Until yesterday, when RCB was victorious, the fans were celebrating all these stakeholders, be it the Karnataka government, be it the RCB, be it Karnataka State Cricket Association, be it DNA Networks. Everybody was striving to take, basically gain mileage out of this, basically gain something out of it, be it money, be it political mileage. But today, we have asked questions to everybody, be it the Bengaluru Police Commissioner, be it senior ministers from the Karnataka government, be it senior officials from the Karnataka State Cricket Association. Here we basically went to the office of headquarters of DNA Networks, one of the prime event companies which is handling the events of RCB. They are also mum about it. They don't want to speak. They say that their top bosses are not present because it's already 5 p.m. Yesterday was an event which was basically to be held to celebrate a cricket victory, celebrate an IPL victory. 18 times IPL has been held in India. First time such kind of an untoward incident happens. Times Now is the only channel which is asking those pertinent questions, but we don't get any answers for the loss of those 11 innocent lives, Madhav.
Absolutely. In fact, there are very, very serious questions that still have to be answered, and certainly, will this probe be enough? The High Court has also stepped in and ordered a magisterial inquiry. The government has ordered a magisterial inquiry, but it's one of their own DMs who will be conducting that. Many, many questions that still require answers. Imran and Arunil, thanks so much for bringing us all of those breaking updates. Let's quickly take it across to our guest now. Joining us. With us is Dr. Sudha Halkai, spokesperson of BJP. We have Mr. Abhayanand, former IPS from Patna. Advocate Harsh Daya, political analyst, is with us. Dr. Nikul Patel, leader of Congress Party, is with us. Dr. Akashdeep Muni, political analyst, also with us. Dr. Nikul Patel, what explained this? The fact that the police were overruled by senior ministers in the government is what top police sources are telling us, and they were forced to conduct this event despite the fact that they did not have the adequate time. No permissions were given by the police. This was an absolute recipe for disaster. Someone in the government will have to take responsibility, sir.
See, government had promptly reacted to the event immediately after it happened, and all precautionary measures were taken and calls were taken. Siddaramaiah ji and DK Shivakumar ji both were there and tried to normalize the situation.
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Dr. Nikul Patel, no precautionary measures were taken. Police permission was not given. And despite the fact that there was no police permission, there were ministers of the government at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. What were they doing there in the first place?
You can listen to DK Shivakumar. He immediately...
No, why after the event? After people have died? That's when you start planning?
The event was unfortunate, and whatever...
So you're waiting for the fans to die, for the crowds to go there, for the security to not be there, and then we start taking action. What kind of organization is this, sir?
The culprit will not be spared. Definitely, the concern is there about...
But what about those in the government? What about those in the government?
The government will play its role by putting...
Sir, we are today sitting in a situation where top police sources in Bengaluru police are telling us that neither the police nor the Home Minister wanted the function to happen. Despite that, they were overruled. So who overruled them? Can you tell us?
Those who have overruled the law will be taken care and they will be punished. That is what I will like to say as a part of Karnataka government, and
By whom?
Will be spared. No one will be spared.
By whom? Because nobody in the government has been made part of this FIR, sir. The big question is this, that at least if those are individuals being investigated, they should be part of the FIR. At the moment, they are not.
See, as soon as the inquiry will start, those who will be fined, culprit will be added to the FIR definitely. Right now, an independent inquiry is being already started, and that is, I think, that is the best part of it. Those who are found that has not followed the laws, whoever say may be, we will not be sparing them.
Nikul Patel, how many policemen were deployed at the spot yesterday? Do you know?
As per Shiv Kumar ji,
are you aware how many policemen were deployed?
Advocate, police, office, police, whatever.
Yes, I'm glad you remember Shiv Kumar ji's statement of 5,000. You know what the government has told the High Court today? The government has told the High Court that it was on 1,400. So where did the other 3,500 people suddenly run away, sir? Why was it exaggerated yesterday? Very clearly, very few policemen were put on duty. The entire arrangements were hurried. There was inadequate preparation, and that really is what has led to this situation. Let me bring in some of the other panelists on this. Mr. Abhayanand, I want you to come in on this. You know, till 3 or 4 in the morning, there are celebrations that go on. The kind of frenzy, the kind of crowd that is there, the craze about RCB is very well known. It's happening after 18 years. Yet the government is forced, as per sources, that RCB forced the government. But who in the government allowed this in the first place? If there are no adequate crowd control measures, why have such a big event in the first place? Mr. Abhayanand.
I've heard your question. Let me take this opportunity to express my condolence for the 11 young lives that have been lost unnecessarily. Now, to begin with the issue that you are raking up, whose responsibility? I do not know the details, but I can tell you from the training that I have got in the year 1977, the batch which I belong to, and the policing that I have done till about 11 years ago when I retired. The training says, the classical theme is, whenever there is a crowd situation, crowd management as we called it, the responsibility is that of the police. That's the end. In the case of your state and Bangalore especially, since these civil powers have also, like the powers of the magistrate, lie with the Commissioner of Police and his deputies, the responsibility is enhanced. The states that I belong to, it used to be police and the local district magistrate. Since the two powers get combined, police just cannot wash its hands off. That is my answer to your...
Okay, police cannot wash its hands off. Dr. Sudha Halkai, let me bring in the spokesperson of BJP. Dr. Sudha Halkai, can you respond to that? Police can't wash its hands off. Is the police only responsible? Is the state government also responsible? Are the associations, responsible for managing cricket, whether the team management or the state cricket association? Can they all be absolved of their responsibility? Sudha Halkai.
Madhav, at the foremost, my condolences to all the 11 families who have lost their loved ones, and I pray that all the people who are injured, let them get speedy recovery. And let me tell you, according to me, the people who are responsible for this massacre is none other than the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, the Deputy Chief Minister Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, and the Home Minister Mr. G. Parmeshwar. All of them should resign from their posts. They're not fit to sit in their constitutional post, and they should be taken into custody. I repeat, they should be taken into custody. This is a massacre what has happened yesterday, and this is only because of the credit war what they're playing. This is because there's a tug of war between Mr. D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, who wanted to take the credit on the victory of the RBC after 18 years. Didn't they know how the people have celebrated the previous night? All the streets were full with the fans of the RCB who were celebrating, and all the police were deployed over there the previous night. How did they come for the duty next day? And why did Mr. D.K. Shivkumar say that 5,000 people were, police officials were there yesterday? Absolutely no. There was no ambulance. I being a doctor, if there is a gathering of 1,000 to 1,500 people also for any BJP, we see to that an ambulance is there with a doctor and the nurses, and immediately how the route of the ambulance has to go and to the nearby hospital. Was any such preparations made? Poor preparations were made and last moment changes were made. And what is the apathy?
Dr. Akash
that, even after there was Photoshop going on after that.
Yeah, Madhav. Yes, Madhav ji. This
Akash Muni, there's photo ops going on. People have died outside, and yet there's no sensitivity to stop the event from taking place. That's the kind of callous situation that we talk about. Leave alone the pathetic arrangements that have been made and complete dereliction of duty on part of the state government.
Madhavji, I totally disagree with you, because as stated by you, the facts are something different. It was RCB which was conducting the event. It was RCB which put a post on X and on Instagram talking that there is a victory parade that is going to be at 3 p.m. yesterday. And the victory parade was to start at 5 p.m. And after this particular social media post,
so why did the government not cancel that event? So why did the government not cancel that event?
Let me tell you.
Why did the government not say that is wrong? Why no. This is where you are wrong, Mr. Muni. The state government represented by the Deputy Chief Minister attended that event. What is his compulsion to attend that event? Please
I
tell
will
me.
tell you the facts.
If it is the state government is cancelling the event, why is the deputy chief minister there?
No, let me.
No, this is the facts.
There was
Answer this fact. Why was the deputy chief minister there?
You hear out, Madhavji. There was no police protection, no police permission. When there was no police permission, they should not have put that post, which attracted lakhs of people there. Apart from that, because the deputy chief minister was there,
let us
1,380 people.
Let us assume RCB is wrong. Akashdeep Muni, let us assume that RCB is wrong for putting out that post. As the police is saying, RCB did not take our permission. Let us say RCB is wrong. What did the government do? The government just sat on its hands and allowed the event to take place? Because they want to snatch credit, because they want to see publicity? No, they should have cancelled that event, sir. They should have instructed the police to barricade that area. There are 1,001 things that the government of the day could have done, which they did not do, which led to this tragic event, which led to so many loss of lives. This is the point that is being made. Why? Because they want to be seen along with the cricket team that is victorious only for their own publicity. That is the unfortunate state of affairs. Let me also bring in Advocate Harsh Dahya. Advocate Harsh Dahya, you know, if the government wanted to, there is a lot they could have done. Unfortunately, in this particular case, they were found wanting. For what reasons, they know best. But at least at this point of time, what we can say is, even though the KSCA, perhaps the RCB can't be absolved of full responsibility, maybe even the police can't be absolved. What was the state government doing allowing this event without adequate preparation?
Madhav, looking at the series of events, it is clear that there is lack of empathy and responsibility in the state government, what we are seeing right now. What should have happened is that they should have had adequate precautions in place when so many people are assembling. They had already seen the level of celebration that happened after the RCB won. But even after that, no proper adequate facilities were put in place, no proper adequate things were done for such a big event to take place. What the government was trying to do, what the state government was trying to do, they were trying to take political gain from this particular celebration. The deputy chief minister was there, and looking at the series of events, I was made aware that the stampede happened at around 3:30 and the event went on till 6:30. Who let it happen? If DK Shiv Kumar knew that such a stampede has happened, then the whole event should have been cancelled. And if he was not aware until 6:30, then he should definitely resign as the deputy chief minister. That 11 people have died, and the deputy chief minister is continuing with the celebrations of RCB winning the IPL trophy. And these 11 people are not just names, they are not just figures. They are people with families, they are people with whole life ahead of them. I was reading about a 13-year-old girl who has been killed in this particular stampede.
Okay.
Who is responsible for the loss of life? And
all right, we'll have to leave it there. Unfortunately, in this country, when it comes to such lives, when it comes to the lives of common citizens, it's quite cheap. That's what is ultimately quite evident. It doesn't matter where the stampede takes place in this country, the story is the same. The story is of passing the buck and of blame game politically. Unfortunately, the more things change, the more they remain the same in this country. We'll have to leave it there. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Dr. Akashdeep Muni, Dr. Nikul Patel, Advocate Harsh Dahya, Abhay Anand, and Dr. Sudha Halkai. Thank you so much for joining us indeed.